reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend, these games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've
Hello there, and welcome to MMO Reporter episode 168. That's a big number. I'm Harry. Chris can't join us this week because he is exhausted and we think he deserves some sleep. So we're going to do this with the rest of the regular crew. And the first one up to bat is our Lotro master, Mr. Lenor. Lenor, how you doing?
I played Lotro this week.
I think I'm going to have a heart attack from that surprise. It's a shocker. It's almost as big as a shocker as the first story we're going to talk about. Okay, and almost equally tired as Chris is, but he dragged himself here. Let that be a lesson to Chris. If you want to, you can make it. I'm not bitter. Bill.
Hello, Harry. I am very tired, but I don't deserve sleep. I'm just not that good a person. Chris deserves it, not me.
Okay, well, I don't want to go into why you don't deserve sleep, because I'm afraid you'll answer that. I think it would be a good idea. I mean, we're not going to have a very long show. That's not just because Bill is tired, but also because it was. There was some interesting stuff this week in the news, but not many items. So feel free to listen to the whole thing of it. You won't fall asleep from us droning on about Oculus Rift or anything. I think the most important thing to start with, though, is what we've been playing in game. Lenor, you played Lotro. Bill, what did you do? I'm kidding. Lenor, go on. What did you do in game?
I played Lotro.
But probably at questing, right? You didn't do PvP.
Well, the update came out today or yesterday, and I did get into some of the older skirmishes and 12-mans and do a lot of the older content. So it just hit. So I haven't done everything yet. I haven't gone through the epic story or did the famous Ent play at this point, or get my stupid little Ent tree, which I don't. That's lore breaking. That's just dumb.
To have a pet tree that follows you around?
Yeah, you're going to get a pet tree that follows you around. I don't know if anybody has one yet, but I've been hearing that you're the only one that sees your tree. So apparently your character goes a little insane.
It sounds like they're mimicking Elder Scrolls Online. You're seeing things that aren't there. But why are you actually doing the older stuff?
I'm doing the older stuff because they just came out with level 95 first age weapons, which is the strongest weapons that you can get for endgame.
And you have to do the old. You can get some stuff from the old skirmishes for that.
You can get them in the old skirmishes, and as far as I know, the big, larger, what we call scrades, which is 12-mans. The older raid instances, as long as you do the challenges. And the new epic battle system, they drop in there as well.
Okay, that's actually pretty clever that they are giving people an incentive to do the old stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy.
They're putting it in the epic raid stuff too. Like I'm assuming it's got to be the large raids, that like 12-person raids as well, or multi-person raids in order to get the the stuff you need for the first stage?
Yeah, they really didn't say, like if it has to be a 12-man or a 6-man or a 3-man.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's just trying to figure it out a little bit. The main one that I did hear yesterday, there was a Scrade, which is a 12-man skirmish. 3 dropped in 1 Scrade, and they came off of lieutenants. They didn't come at the chest at the end. So the drop rate of that is supposed to be really, really rare. So we're wondering if the drop rate is kind of set a little bit high and they're going to change it in a day or two. So everybody's out there trying to, scam a few first stagers before they mess with it.
But what I find actually surprising is that, and it's damn lucky too, that all the time that those raids and skirmishes were in the game before, they didn't drop those level 95 weapons. I mean, can you imagine getting one when the level cap was 65?
Yeah,
Oh, I
no
know.
kidding.
It's an amazing coincidence.
So the drop rate must be just right.
They've planned it all along. This is how it was going to work out all along. It's the
Earth
long
all
tail
along,
of the drop rate.
Did you play anything else, Lenor?
Yeah,
Emotional
other
rate.
than that, I actually played a little bit of Hearthstone. I went through the first campaign that they put you in. Like you beat a bunch of guys, and then you get the guy at the end that says, "You are not prepared." I beat him.
Uh-huh.
I was prepared.
You were prepared. Built my deck for 3 hours, damn it. I was damn prepared.
So I went through that, and you guys were talking about it last week. Yes, it is like Magic the Gathering, but they done away with all of the clutter, all the things that slow the game down. This just moves it right along, and it moves seamlessly. It feels really good. It's a very cool game.
I agree completely.
It needs to be for Android.
It should be on everywhere. You should just be able to play this. Bill, did you play it?
I did not play it this week. This week I was I played a little bit of Guild Wars 2, but then I got that whole pre-patch meh syndrome where it was really hard to get excited about playing Guild Wars 2 when I knew the whole game was just about to change, which it has changed today. And I haven't played it at all because reasons. So, but what I did play, and I have rekindled my love for this game, is Diablo 3. Got the expansion. There's actually not much about the expansion itself that is super exciting for me. I just didn't even realize how much there was a little bit of a part of me that really missed playing Diablo 3. It's amazingly cathartic that, if you ever feel the need that where you need to kill 10,000 of something, Diablo 3 is perfect for that.
Yeah.
And so I did buy the expansion. I rolled up a Crusader, and I've done my first campaign and killed the end guy, because it's a big secret who the end guy to Diablo is.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't finished it yet, so please don't tell me.
Okay, it's
Diablo.
it'll blow your socks off.
It's
But
the Chupacabra, too, right?
You are not prepared.
oh, Harry, you just told the whole internet. Anyway, Crusader, very cool. It started off apparently very weak, and like within days, they had patched a whole bunch of skill buffs and everything into the Crusader, and I don't know if they overtuned it or what, but I was just mowing through everything faster than I have on any other character in Diablo 3. So Crusaders maybe not OP, but certainly P.
I heard that the biggest part of the patch or the upgrade was actually the patch that came before the expansion, which changed the loot table, removed the auction house, and made it play much more like the Xbox and PlayStation 3 versions of the game. Which were a lot more fun to me because you could actually get decent loot and you didn't have to deal with the real money stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing it on PC actually because this sounds very, very enticing. You are always contaminating me with things like this. That's your job, I think.
Yeah, I dredge these things up that are just really addictive and terrible for you, but you really want them.
Well, I put Civ in your brain, so I think this is fair enough.
Payback.
Oh, speaking of Civ, who got excited
Oh.
about the PAX East announcement this
Oh
week?
yeah, it's Alpha Centauri without the name, but
Yep.
better.
Yeah, actually, I saw a interview on that, and they basically said this is the spiritual successor to Alpha Centauri. The game will be different. There will be nods to Alpha Centauri here or there, but it's Alpha Centauri with a new skin, and I'm excited too that it's fall 2014. Like they've actually, this seems to me like it was one of the best kept secrets on the internet.
Yeah, and it's pretty quickly we'll be able to play this. And a friend of mine said that he heard an interview, so this is very reliable. It's almost straight from the dead horse's mouth. That
Ew.
they didn't have the sorry, they didn't really have the rights to the IP of Alpha Centauri anymore. The name itself was taken, so that's why they had to find a new name. And I think it's actually better because there's no limits to what they can do now. They could. I'm looking forward to this so much.
Oh, and it makes sense too. It's not it's my understanding of it is that it's a settlement game. It's not necessarily the established colonies or anything like that. It's a game where people are fleeing Earth because we wrecked it and are looking for the next place. So it's beyond Earth, just a little bit.
You're actually able to make your own factions, which is something that. And I was talking to those friends. I have a regular Civ game every Sunday, and we were wondering if you had to start at the Stone Age on Earth to get beyond Earth. And if it was possible for one guy to just be stuck in the medieval era while everybody else was already flying through space, just stuck on Earth. My name is Elf and I'm stuck on Earth. Yeah?
Does that mean that he wins because everybody else left Earth and he's the only one there?
It's mine!
It's all
mine.
mine.
And I can turn it into the planet of the apes. And when they come back, I'll blow it all to hell. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, so Beyond Earth, I have a feeling, even though it's not an MMO, it'll be mentioned on this show at least once or twice coming up.
Pretty sure, yeah.
How about you, Harry? What's filled your week?
Well, first I had to finish off playing Elder Scrolls Online. And after that, the internet finished me off because I reviewed it. I made the mistake of actually writing down what I thought about it. I didn't know that wasn't what I was supposed to do. What I was supposed to do, according to many of the people, many people who responded to my review, what I was supposed to do was go to Metacritic, see what the average score was of the top scoring reviews, and use that as the score under my review. Anything else was wrong.
Wow.
Interesting. That's what they're teaching in journalism school, I think, these days, too, is just research on Metacritic and then you're done.
I hear that's also going to be the rage for book reviews and movie reviews, that everybody's just going to be this average review, and there's not going to be any disagreement between reviewers.
Oh, that makes it so much easier, though.
Yeah.
It does. They could put that with your high school diploma now.
Yeah, what were those guys' names? The American reviewers that thumbs up, thumbs down.
Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and Ebert. They would not be able to work in today's market because they disagreed.
Well, they're old-fashioned.
That's not possible. Yeah, you cannot do that.
That's so old-fashioned now. Yeah, you should really just conform to the middle. Don't say anything outrageous. And would you like fries with that?
I'll just stop being sarcastic. What my point would be, and I've said this to somebody else who was complaining to me on the internet, if you have a different opinion than I have, and you enjoy the game tremendously, and you think it's a 10, then please enjoy the game. Have fun. I'm glad you enjoy it. But for me, the game is just okay, and just okay is not enough to recommend it. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. And I made very clear that I love the character progression and the skill system and everything else. But the questing part is just broken. It's not fun. So it's not an MMO to me. It's too much of a compromise. And I hope this game will improve, and I hope people will enjoy it when they're playing it. But I have the nagging feeling that we're going to see something similar to Star Wars: The Old Republic, or Age of Conan, for that matter. That when people have finished with the single player storyline and they reach endgame, I think about 3/4 of the players will basically just stop and have no reason to play this game anymore. And that's not what an MMO should do.
Now, do you think that's the game that is causing that, or is that the general MMO climate where if you get through to quote unquote the end of Elder Scrolls Online, there's going to be probably half a dozen other things out there that you could jump into just for the sake of something different?
Well, especially because there is a subscription involved, and you actually need to pay to continue on with your end game stuff. I think there are a lot of games out there that will offer the same or better for free. And that's something you just cannot deny. I mean, if I buy, this is also something, and I know there are people who are going to disagree with me, but I consider having to play for 10 hours. And I checked before I was able to get into the player versus player bit. I think that's not a good way of making people go through that stuff before you can do that. If I buy Guild Wars 2, I can literally get into the world versus world stuff in 10 minutes. I have to go to the first quest, and then after that, world's my oyster. So there are a lot of things like that I think you just don't do anymore. And I lack the time or the interest to do that. I want to do whatever I want to do right now, which brings me to Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh. Game of the year?
Actually, okay, I know that what I'm about to say will make the Elder Scrolls fans even more angry. Because I really love Final Fantasy XIV, even though it took me at least 5 hours to get more hours to get to level 15 in the game, which is basically the first 15 levels of the tutorial. And I hated the first 2 hours. I started to actually like the game after hour 3, and now I'm completely head over heels in love with it. It's one of the most fun MMOs I've played in a long time. It brings back memories of Lotro in its heyday, and combined with EverQuest, and there is so much fun stuff to do in it. It's just a drag to get to the good part. And I am so happy that I stuck through those first 5 hours of learning. This is a typical Japanese thing, I think, that their tutorials outstay their welcome.
Yeah.
They don't trust us. they want to make absolutely sure that you get the fact that if you have to kill something, how you have to kill it, that you have to do that at least 50,000 times before they think, okay, I think you can kill something. It's not exactly grindy. The thing is, it's not a grind in the way that you have to kill 5,000 mobs or have to find 10 livers or something. Usually it comes in threes. Every kill quest is kill 3 of those, and that's manageable. Quests are actually well written and have cutscenes and sometimes spoken word. But the fun thing is that the world starts to open up. It's not just a WoW style, start at level 1, go to level 50 by following the story. The further you come into the game, the more options open up. You can change your jobs, you can change your classes, you can do all kinds of activities. You can start running dungeons at level 15, which are really well done. Well, fun, well-designed, fun runs. There's all kinds of activities that are optional, almost like skirmishes and scenarios in other games that open up and are tied to the location. So there's actually a reason to explore the world and find new scenarios and guild leaves, as they're called. And the more I play it, the more sandboxy it starts to feel, while still having very, very well-directed quests and stories. So I'm retroactively completely agree with myself for making this game of the year, because I hadn't invested as much time in it before as I have now, and it's basically the fault of a friend of mine who was a big fan of this game way before I was, and he almost forced me to play it. And now the PlayStation 4 version game. This is maybe interesting to say. I played the PS4 version. It looks gorgeous, especially on the new not puked on television. It's 1080p is a perfect match. It runs, I think, almost all the time at 60 frames per second, and the controller is a very good way to play. It's just not good for typing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you find the in-game communicate? Like, is it all voice chat, or is there?
No. It's actually just a PC game that they put. But I use the keyboard for. I have a USB Bluetooth keyboard that I use for chatting and stuff like that, and for my password and everything.
Yeah.
But the controller is mostly fine for combat and for everything else you do. The only thing that doesn't really work very well is targeting. And that I'm playing DPS, and it doesn't really matter that much. I just have to target something and make it die, and that works. But I can't really imagine tanking with a controller setup.
You need,
I'm
you
going
need that
to try.
tab key.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm having so much fun with it. It is an amazing experience. It looks pretty. The music is fantastic. We've talked about the music in World of Warcraft, right? And how that makes. Okay, the music in Final Fantasy XIV tricks you into thinking that whatever you are doing is freaking awesome. Because they have these timed quests that are called guild leaves. It's usually kill 10 of something. You know, it's a basic kill quest. And you have to go to a certain place in the area, and then you activate that quest. And then this music starts pumping that sounds like a Japanese reimagining of the Mission Impossible theme. And you are basically just running through the field, killing the same mobs you were killing 10 minutes before. But now it's awesome because this thumping music is going on. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? and that works so well. So I'm having a ball. And last night I did my first dungeon with that friend of mine and his girlfriend. So we had a party of 3. We just needed one guy more, and turned out you have this dungeon finder system, and the guy that joined us was an utterly confused Japanese guy, who thought we were basically going to rush it because my two friends are much higher level. They have max level characters scaled down to the dungeon, but you can see that they are at max level. So he probably thought this was going to be an easy, quick run. So he was just running ahead. But we were taking our time because I hadn't seen anything yet. So he kept running into mobs, and he kept pulling everything in the dungeon because he expected everyone to be there with him, but we weren't. So at a certain point, I started singing the Benny Hill music because he was just running through the cave with trains of mobs behind him.
We've all been there.
Yeah. But it was so funny because he just didn't understand why we weren't just getting to the boss. We were killing everything. But my friends wanted to boost me, they wanted to help me clear the cave and do everything. But he just couldn't figure it out, poor guy. But it was fun. Chris, what did you... Oh, Chris didn't play anything.
I think Steve outplayed Chris this week.
Oh, jeez.
I don't... Yeah, well... After last week's incident, I don't think we're going to ask Steve what he's been playing. I did play a little Hearthstone, by the way, and I still love it. I also reviewed it, scored it a 9 out of 10, and I think it heartedly deserves it. See what I did there. Yeah, it's a groaner. Okay, that's what we've been doing in-game. And that brings us to our top story of the week.
This is amazing. I just... It's everything.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I mean, especially if you have been following the Star Citizen story of success, and this is a big story. And this company is building this space flight simulator, MMO, Wing Commander, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, everything game with Oculus Rift support and everything. And they've actually managed to get 42 million dollars invested into the game, and now they've gotten to the main feature that everybody was looking for, and that's adding towels to the game. So they've actually added, and this is pretty cool. Since they got $42 million, they were finally able to design a dirty towel that hangs over a rack.
Well, it's a scaling dirty towel. It gets dirtier as your ship gets more damaged.
42 million.
It's this is what you get when you fund a game to $42 million. I mean, it's life, the universe, it's everything.
It's also a group of people sitting in a room, looking at each other with desperation, like, "Oh my God, what the frick are we gonna do?" Towels, of course, towels. This game lacks towels.
Yep.
We have the universe, but we have no towels. What would we do with our hands? So now we have actually towels. There's going to be a towel.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a link. There must be a link to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mean, if you have read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know you have to know where your towel is at all times.
Well, I'm sure it has to do with the 42
It must.
hitting the
It must.
$42 billion mark.
Yeah,
'Cause that
but
would
still towels.
I love it.
You have $42 million in funding, and the feature you present is a towel.
Yeah.
Look at my neighbors.
Towels. That's been toilet paper.
Yeah, that's maybe
that's 50.
Yeah, 50 billion there. So. Anyway, speaking of games that wish they had $50 million, looks like CCP has had enough of the World of Darkness dance and has just ended it. So World of Darkness is no more. It's been teetering on the edge for ages now. I seem to recall talking about this maybe happening or probably happening over a year ago, and now that it's finally done. So yeah, so it's additional layoffs. The initial smoke that came out from this was the layoffs that happened previously at the studio that was working on World of Darkness. They were running on a skeleton crew for quite a while, and now the skeleton crew of 56 people in their Atlanta studio are no more. So yeah, what do you think, guys? It almost feels like an era for something that never happened.
This was the game that I've been looking forward to for like 3 years. This was it.
This was it. Now
This
what?
was it. Now I don't know.
Play Lotro.
We're gonna play Lotro. I've been looking forward to what's the name of it now? See, I don't even know the name of that game. World of Darkness. This was the one. Was the one.
It's okay.
There aren't that many dark games. There's the Secret World, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You have Eve. It's pretty dark. It's space.
When you look out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eve did the Unicron and totally devoured World of Darkness.
But it's I don't know. I never really got what they were doing with it. I mean, it was just this thing they were doing. We're going to make a World of Darkness MMO, but they never showed much. They showed some concept and I think an animation here or there, but what the game was going to be, no, not a clue. So I've never excited about that.
The only thing that really came out of it to me was that it was going to be dark, as the name implied. There was certainly nothing technical, like no technical features or nothing in game style or anything like that really seemed to separate itself, other than the fact that it was CCP. So people were hoping for maybe the Eve lightning to be caught in another bottle, and. Yeah, it never. That was all that was really driving it. So now it's pulled over and is done. So, I mean, that said, somebody else is going to take this genre and do something with it. Like Secret World can't be the only horror style MMO that really gets any traction out there. Someone is going to take that ball and run with it. I don't know who, or I don't know necessarily what kind of universe that it'll be in, but I have to believe someone's going to take another run at it.
Maybe Facebook can buy the IP and turn it into a browser game.
Mm-hmm.
You shut up, Harry.
There you go. You could recruit your buddies to turn them into werewolves, and you could have a little werewolf farm where you raise
you breed
humans. I don't know.
werewolves. Yeah, you breed humans, and then you let them bite each other. And I've seen that movie, so okay.
I'm gonna go walk away.
But they are going to focus their attention now only to games who are in the EVE Online universe. And actually, I think that's not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. I think it's very good for them to focus. I think one of the things that almost brought them to the brink of ruin was spreading themselves too thin. And by focusing on this is our thing, this is our universe, what stories can we tell within this setup will yield better games.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they can build, I mean, it's an original IP. They can build on it. Maybe, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be solely focused on EVE. If they feel they need to branch out a little bit, they obviously did Dust 514. Maybe there's other avenues in the EVE megaverse or whatever that they could go down, and there could be different game styles that way. But I think they've got an opportunity to they've obviously created this IP that's resonated with a lot of people. Maybe there's good traction for them if they just stick with that instead of just casting out and trying new things.
Well,
EVE Valkyrie. So, no, go ahead.
With EVE being an original CCP title, CCP did end up buying the rights for White Wolf. So they do own Vampire and Vampire the Masquerade and all those other World of Darkness titles. So they do own that now.
For how long?
They have it on their website. They are selling their books. They own that IP.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn it around and
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
flip it to Facebook or whoever.
Wizards of the Coast.
Facebook.
There.
Well, yeah, Wizards of the Coast is already wholly owned property of
Mattel. Lego.
Well, Lego werewolves. That's something I would like to see.
Yeah, I'd play that.
I'd be fine with that.
If you step on one of those Lego bricks at night, then you turn into a werewolf with your bare feet. Okay. I think this game is dying as we speak. Just as the story is dying from boredom. But I do think EVE Valkyrie and stuff like that's going to be awesome. So, Leonor, I think you have something else to add, and it's going to be a surprising subject for a surprising man. Tell us.
In The Hobbit, there is a character named, I think his name is Bjorn, or Bjork. He's a defender of the area that he lives in the forest, and when he gets angry or when people are attacked and he wants to defend them, he can turn into a bear. The race is called, surprisingly enough, I think Bjorn as well. And those are going to be the new class added to Lord of the Rings Online.
The way you described it was almost like he's the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, he is the Incredible Hulk in the movie.
kind of it. That's not too far off, actually.
Yeah.
This seems like a. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I don't want to pan it before I even see anything about it. This wouldn't have been my first choice for a new class to add to LoTRE.
No.
Well, the first thing I thought when I... oh, no, sorry. Go ahead, Leonor. You weren't done yet. Tell us your thoughts, because you are a resident lore master here.
That was a pun. Puns are punny. It's weird.
Thanks for that in-depth analysis. Now over to Bill. Bill, what did you think?
Well, I was reading up on it a little bit. It's going to be a light armor type class that in certain circumstances gains the possibility or likelihood to transform into this indestructible bear. Right. And I'm interested to see how that plays out and how they can make it work. Because to me, basing a class's mechanic off of stuff that happens randomly is a recipe for the opposite of success.
I know why they do this, and I know why the mechanic is the way it is. But this is one reason only. Because they want to make a raid where the final boss is very, very challenging. And the only way to beat it is by having a Bjorn in your party. So at the end, you can say that friends can say, "Did you make it?" And you can say, "Yeah, barely."
Oh. Oh, that's I think 3 for 3, Harry. Those are all terrible puns. Good for you.
It's horrible.
That's terrible.
No, but the best part of that whole pun was the setup. That was beautifully.
Terrible.
It was like you were sculpting it. It was artisan. It was artistic.
This was a long journey to get there. But my first reaction to when I saw this was, I remember the response when they introduced lightning spewing dwarfs to Lotro. Mm-hmm. This was not a happy crowd. This was not a peaceful forum after they introduced that. So now you're going to get bear people running all over Middle Earth. Because I've talked to this with Leonor just before the show, and we agree that even though everybody objects to it, everybody's going to make one. Well, so there's going to be thousands of these bear people roaming the countryside, which was once a single aberration of nature in the Tolkien universe, is now the major population force. This is not going. Yeah.
And I mean, very clearly the choice is made because the attention that's brought to this one character from the most recent Hobbit movie. And to be fair, it was a fairly cool character. It looked great on the screen. I don't know, like I said, I don't know that this is where I would have gone in game.
Well, it's not too lore breaking. In the movies, he actually says that he is the last one of the race, but when you do read the books, he does lead a bunch of that race into a big battle. So there are a bunch of them, probably not a huge amount of them. Certainly there's more Dunedain wandering around, all over the place, which are the Rangers, which would be the more likely thing to pick, I would think. But no, let's be bears. Yay! Well, I'll be Care-a-Lot.
Now, Rowan actually brought up an interesting point here, just reading through the thread in all this, that because he also, in the same letter that they announced this new class, they also announced kind of a rough timeline that in 2015 they're going to be going into Osgiliath, and by doing the math on it, you can probably assume that they're going into Mordor in 2016. So is that the end of Lotro? And he very clearly says that, no, that's not the end. That's just basically us getting to a point where we can be inventive and we can do whatever we want, because that's where the books ended. So
it is good to see that there is that we are moving ahead. That's after the license renewing and stuff. I'm happy that we're finally going to, or they can just do a 180 and just go to the Grey Havens rather than finally getting into Mordor, which would piss everybody off to no end.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You can see Mordor over there, over that hill, but we're going west.
Yeah.
We're going west into the Grey Havens with my bear.
West. Sorry.
Barely got there.
The tease of it all, but yeah, I mean, to me that's where you introduce the Bjornings as a race, because maybe Mordor gets defeated. Spoiler alert, people, the books have been out for 70 years. That's when the Bjornings resurrect themselves or as a race, and they start appearing in the world again now that the Rings Master is defeated and destroyed, and the world's getting better and moving into a new age, and et cetera, et cetera. That seems to me the time to do it, but obviously that doesn't line up with the Hobbit movies then.
Well, this is Lord of the Rings era that we're talking about as well. This is like 100 years after the Hobbit, so I would assume that race is not dead, but even more well hidden by that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't like a lot of magical things and stuff in after the Third Age started just kind of getting thin and trickling out of the world. So yeah, I don't think so.
But actually, if I recall my lore correctly, the world we live in now is the world that came after. So what Leonor says is actually true, that rather than more magic, it's less and less until only man is left.
Oh, dang. That is a spoiler. Now I'm sad.
The Lord of the Rings ends with the Tolkien's Middle Earth ends with us.
Actually, I think I did know that, but still. Now I'm reminded of it, and the hobbits are going away, and so are the elves, and that's it. Show's over. I've had enough.
Yeah,
what a big downer. Way to go, guys.
I'm sorry. It was man after all. Who is the real animal now? Okay. So much for that. Before we go, I'd like to thank our sponsors who make all this possible, all this and more. First up is our friends at Doghouse, doghousesystems.com. They build the most fantastic PCs possible. And if you use the coupon code MMO Reporter at checkout, you double your RAM. So if you order 8, you get 16 for the price of 8, which is fantastic in today's high-end, graphically intensive gaming needs. So please go to doghousesystems.com and use MMO Reporter at checkout. And second, and I really like this service, and I really want more people to see this or listen to this, find this out. Audible is the provider of the most awesome audiobooks possible, and there is no better way than to do a long drive in the car, but to have an Audible book to help you along. Go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. You get your first month free, and that also includes your first audiobook, which is yours to keep even if you don't continue your subscription. audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. Bill, could you please tell everybody how they can reach us?
I would be happy to. If you want to find our website, you can head over to MMOreporter.com for all of the MMO Reporter Network shows and links to all that kind of good stuff, as well as links to just about everything I'm going to talk about here as we proceed. If you want to send us an email, you can email us at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/MMOReporter. You can tweet at all of us, including Leonor, at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, believe it or not, at Leonor for Leonor, and at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778 or click on the widget on the right side of MMOReporter.com. Let us know what you think. We would love to hear your voice. Just to say hi. Doesn't even have to be to say anything. If you just want to say hi, that's fine. We'd like to hear from you. And finally, you can find us on the YouTubes over at www.youtube.com/users/MMO Reporter Network, where we've got YouTube conversions of all of our podcasts. We've got streaming stuff. We've got gaming shows or gaming conventions past, PAX videos, all that kind of stuff, all on our YouTube channel. So check it out there.
See, Harry, he says www as well. You're the minority.
I want to be the... Oh, sorry.
I'm a minority now? Well, I'm proud to be a minority. That's my job, I think. I mean, I write the unpopular reviews. It's so odd. I got almost as much hate This is a Freudian slip. I almost got as much hate when I wrote a review of Zelda HD remake of the Wind Waker, and I scored it an 8. And an 8 was way too low for such a magnificent game that was 10 years old and was basically a remake.
Mm-hmm.
So I got just as much hate for that 8 as I got for the 6 for Elder Scrolls Online.
Really?
But I'm not bitter.
No, don't. I'm proud of you, Harry. Stick
I'm
up
not
for your
dwelling on
principles, especially if your
PC
principles.
Gamer gave us the same score, by the way.
Really?
It
I
was
like that.
6.8, but
I think you should stick to your principles as long as your principles involve beating up Elder Scrolls Online, because that's great.
and I have to thank ArenaNet for paying me for the Elder Scrolls review. This is not true, damn it!
I was
Just have to make
Blow up
sure.
this weekend.
I was going to say, this is how rumors get started, I think.
Completely unrelated. I have a new car now.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, I think we have to end this before I get hurt. First I'd like to thank Lenore for being here again. Thank you, Lenore.
I think I'm out of chapstick. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you for joining us, even though you were very tired.
I think I'm glad I was here, and I'm pretty sure I'll survive the night.
You did very well, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the listener, you there behind that headset, listening to us. Yeah, you. Don't look around. You. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading the show, and I hope you will download us next week. And as Chris always says, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter